2013, I talked about the impact of the original Paranormal Activity film. This was the instance of one of those extremely low-budget kind of horror films that leaves everything to the viewer and their imagination, which is usually one of the most effective scaring techniques. The original film was one of the most massive successes in movie history, surpassing its budget thousands of times over. With that kind of success, sequels were very precedented. I'm going to skip right past the second film and talk about the third, which is my favorite of the series. The third film, simply titled Paranormal Activity 3, digs into the past and explores the haunted beginning of the string of events that are hinted at in the first film. What results is what I think is the strongest and most admirable entry in the franchise. This is seen through the perspective of a high-grade consumer camcorder in the late 1980s. The two sisters represent the younger versions of the female characters from the first two films. I think I'm not spoiling anything by revealing that some creepy stuff is going on in their house, and cameras are set up to figure out what's going on. The only thing this film falls victim to is the clear formula that was set up in the first movie. Strange things going on and conveniently having a camera and equipment to capture all this weird activity. The difference here is they at least make sense of the means that they can record this with their stepdad being a wedding videographer. Anyway, this film is most admirable for a lot of different qualities. The first is that the production design and quality are great. They make use of the 80s mise-en-scene and props quite well. The occasional fuzzy grain on what's supposed to be an old VHS tape provides for an effectively engaging experience with the audience. Additionally, the usage of some of the 80s props is clever as well. The fact that they can actually astutely write in a Light Bright and a Teddy Ruxpin doll and make them relevant is entertaining in its own right. Not to mention, the actors do a little bit better of a job in this film than the previous two films. I think the performances of the two young girls are effective enough to make a lot of the tense moments feel real and suspenseful. This movie also benefits from having a very foreboding and ominous presence consistently throughout. I think it's the only one in the series that really captures that feeling and makes it last for most of the film. And finally, the final sequence is great. These movies are known for building up to their final sequences and paying off, but I thought this one in particular may have been the strongest of the whole series. This really tapped into that old childhood fear of walking through a creepy house in the middle of the night, not knowing what lies in the shadows. Upon watching this in the theater, this had me on the edge of my seat, and I thought it was extremely suspenseful and totally creepy. I know people seem to be divided on these kinds of films, but for me I appreciate the realism they try to put into these movies in order to engage the audience. Paranormal Activity 3 holds up to me as one of those kinds of films that uses all the right techniques with a low budget and pays off. Low budget horror means high quality entertainment.